All right, welcome everyone. Nice to see so many here. Again, it's time for another event in the AI for SaaS series where we learn how to make the best out of AI and what is hot right now. This event is organized together with Software Finland and Vendep Capital. I'm Mikko Lehtimäki from Softlandia. I'll be hosting this event tonight. We can go right to the business. Sami from Vendep is going to give you a brief regards from the US.
Thank you. Great to be here. Timo from Vendep was here last time, and now I was tasked to come in and talk about something, I guess. Now, first of all, Sami, I'm one of the partners at Vendep Capital. We're a B2B SaaS company, VC, investing in early stage, meaning pre-seed to Series A entries into B2B SaaS companies within the Nordics, within the Baltics. And then, in our DNA is that we build very tight portfolios. So we don't spread the money. We actually really focus the money into a small portfolio, and we're heavily involved with the companies when they want us to be involved, I guess is the way to put it. And we do really strong follow through. So it's not the initial ticket that truly matters, because we reserve 2/3 of the capital for the follow-on rounds. So we're there for you as a founder for the long haul. That's enough of Vendep. Thought about talking a little bit about kind of news from Silicon Valley. I was lucky enough to be there for a couple of weeks, and I know you get a little later today. You get a view of how SaaStock was and what was discussed at SaaStock. I can give you just a snapshot of SaaSter, which is a competing conference. What was discussed there, as well as then the overall feeling of what was going on in the Valley. SaaSter, to start with, it's a very long-standing conference in Silicon Valley. Obviously, SaaS is the center of it, and this year, probably the same with the SaaStock. It was all about AI. Every freaking presentation was AI. How do I apply? How do I utilize? How do I benefit? What do I build? How do I build? Will AI kill SaaS companies? Now everybody's building their own software, so you don't need SaaS anymore, or do you? A lot of talks around on AI. It was fully about AI. The SaaSter week wasn't eye-opening for me. It was the following week when I went through the VC companies on Sand Hill Road in San Francisco. And that kind of truly opened my eyes. Went to some of the shared office spaces, and the boom is seriously on in San Francisco. People are flowing back to the city. It was really ugly place 2 years ago. People are flowing back. They're going in there because they want to be part of the SaaS AI boom. And the feeling was I used to live in the Valley from 1998. I'm very old. From 1998 to 2001, when the Internet 1.0 was built. And the boom, the feeling, the excitement all around was very similar back then than it was now, just kind of dropping in for a couple of weeks. VCs are super actively investing. Everybody was telling stories how they have this and this and this hyper-growing company in their portfolio. So these lovable stories that we're so proud here, it seemed like almost every VC there have similar stories of verticalized AI going deep into business processes and really, really growing super fast. So it seems like the US market is buying big time right now, where at least from where I stand, it seems like Europe is a little bit standstill, still more worried about risks and security of AI, where the US enterprise is going like head first, just diving in. Let's do AI here, let's do AI there. So in my mind, if you are building AI solutions for the enterprise, might be waste of time trying to sell to the Deutsche Banks of the world, but rather go to the US, try to find the US lead customers for your solution. That market seems to be really, really really on fire right now. And same goes for VCs. I mean, we have over 30 companies across 3 funds at Vendep. And, you know, obviously, once in a while, we need to raise more funds for the companies. And fundraising on the European soil has been really, really a struggle for all the companies. And it doesn't really matter, you know, how great growth figures you post. It still is super hard to get a London VC convinced that they should invest. While at the same time talking to the Valley guys, yeah, we did 3 deals last week. You know, we closed 3 deals last week. You know, we've done 6 this year. You know, we're aiming to do 15. Things are hot. We want to be in this. We don't want to be left out. Very, very kind of different mindset and sentiment in the Valley. So probably enough. So my instruction would be seek for US, you know, early co-development customers rather than Europeans, as well as go to San Francisco, get an Airbnb, get a couch, go there, spend some time, be part of that. Take meetings, go to shared office spaces, talk to VCs, you know, talk to everybody, go to meetups like this in the Valley, be part of that excitement, suck in the excitement and become part of it and bring it back here, of course. But I mean, it's honestly, this is the best time during my life to found a startup, to build an AI startup and be on the market. It's never been as exciting as it is right now. So you're in good company when you're here. Thank you, guys.
All right, thank you, Sami. Starting with the easy questions like, do we even need SaaS in the short or long term when we've got the AI? Exciting news from the US there. Petri Mäenpää from Software Finland is, Petri Aukio is going to give his greetings from Software Finland.
Hi. How many of you are in a company that is a Software Finland member? Roughly a third. So about 450, I think, companies are part of Software Finland community. We host meetups, we host different kinds of webinars, there's different kinds of rebates on services of different kinds, and we do lobbying on the part of companies to make it easier to run a software business in Finland. I'm a board member and I run our AI club. And there's a lot of people who are not part. If you would like to, just grab my hand and say, I'm interested. And I'm sure there's going to be a discount since you asked me nicely today. Second part, if you think there's something you do or provide where you think everyone in the Software Finland community should hear about it, let me know as well. Most of the speaking positions we have are for members, but it's not exclusive. Sometimes we also host people who are not members. And if you're not from Helsinki, ever since COVID, we've been doing almost all of our work online as webinars rather than live meetings. This is like an exception what we're doing right now. So it's a really great time to join the club if you're interested. Let's have a good night. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Petri. Like I said, my name is Mikko. I'm with Softlandia. We're in the business of accelerating AI roadmaps for SaaS businesses and industrial companies. We can help you design the roadmaps, build everything around it, got the full stack experience. And the reason we love these meetups and events like this is that we've learned a lot from the community. We're actually active contributors in many projects in the open source AI space, and the conversations that we have in these meetings are always fueling us to look into new technology and find new cool things, write interesting blog posts and build demos. That's how we learn. That's how we hope to educate others, and that's why we like hosting events like this. Practicalities. There's some drinks, snacks over there. We'll have pizza coming in after the main sessions. We'll hear tonight from Pasi Vuorio, the creator of LastBot, building cutting-edge AI in production. We'll hear from André Bardy from Kallan Co, how you design good user experience for AI products, maybe even using AI. I don't know. I find this topic very, very interesting. And finally, Jaakko Timonen, our go-to-market expert from Softlandia, is going to give greetings from SaaStock and some lessons learned from our recent visit to our US office in Austin and attending the AI events there, sucking in the atmosphere, like said earlier. We will be recording this event, taking photos. If you don't want to appear in any of the footage, please let us know so we can edit it accordingly. The chat online is open for questions. We ask that you wait with posting your questions until the end of the presentations, then we'll read them out and have them answered here on stage. I think that's going to be all from my side. We are ready to welcome Pasi Vuorio from LastBot on stage.
Okay, so hello to all. My name is Pasi. I come from a company called LastBot. And the LastBot was actually born basically 2.5 years ago, around 1 month after the ChatGPT came out. And that's when I basically started myself. I have a long background in the software development, so I've been doing quite a lot of startups before this one as well. But then when the ChatGPT came and we have these new, really exciting capabilities, so I thought that I cannot really I cannot look from the kind of a background on how people are doing so nice things with the AI. So basically we started LastBot then. So I was living then in Spain, and my colleague, co-founder Tero, was actually in California. So we have grounds in the quite warm countries, but then now we have actually sort of built the whole company here in Finland as well. Of course, still kind of looking at the backgrounds in USA and the Spain as well. So this is our story. So this question, so like said, when we started LastBot, it was one of the first startups in the whole era. Of course, everybody thought that everybody's doing AI already when we were kind of pitching our thing, or I think it was in March or April. I think that the Sami also from Vendep heard our pitch back then. So yeah, we were pitching quite a lot. And of course, nobody 2 years ago really knew that what AI will be and what kind of a thing is the kind of the secret sauce that will sort of keep up the traction and everything else. So everybody was asking that, what's your mode? So based on the 2-year experience now, I could actually tell you what is not a mode. So I was asked to tell that what is our technology stack. It doesn't matter. And there's no mode in that one. We basically see that there are new frameworks born every month, new sort of language models coming basically almost every week. So there's really not much thing that you can build on top of technology itself. So we are not anymore believing in that, even though we are, of course, trying to ride the latest technologies as possible. And of course, there's no really mode in prompts as well. So people back then were talking a lot about this, like AI wrappers. So is your company just a AI wrapper? Luckily, we don't hear that much anymore about that question, but still, we were just thinking that, are you just a prompt on top of language models? So yeah, there's no mode in prompts. So we renew them every 3 months or so. But where there actually is a mode, so before going there, I have to tell that what LastBot is actually doing. So we are building up a SaaS that's going to sort of solve out the customer communication. So from the beginning, we basically started on doing customer-facing bots when everybody else was basically concentrating on this like employee-facing, like co-pilots and such. So we were trying to go into customers, and of course, the first version that we launched, it was not a big failure, but we quite easily saw that the capabilities of language models and the frameworks that we have been using, so they were not enough like a year ago. So we needed to sort of grow from there. So we basically launched our first version of LastBot like 1.5 years ago. And then after half a month, we stopped selling that one. And the reason was, where's the trust? Where's the reliability? Can I trust my customers to really discuss with these bots or not? So if somebody can actually solve this one, so if we have an AI to whom you can actually trust your own customers, your most valuable assets, so that's a mode. So I would say that if somebody solves, I haven't seen a really good AI bot that we could trust like 100%. So that's a really big mode. And then of course the customer value. So we basically, like I said, we started like a generic chatbot company, just trying to solve everything on customer communication and so on. But then we found out that when we were discussing with entrepreneurs, companies, enterprises and such, we quite quickly noticed that they are all sort of unique. So we cannot generalize a bot that's suitable for everybody. So that's when you needed to really start looking at the customers, discussing with them, understanding their problems, and solving with a good, suitable solution. So customer obsession, that's what we believe right now. Let me put this one. Okay, my presentation is made with AI with a presenter software that's made with AI. There seems to be some scaling problems with that one. So yeah, we are not replacing SaaS or PowerPoint yet. Hopefully someday. But yeah, talking a bit of the sort of the things that we try to. I will have to zoom this a bit. So building trustworthy bots. So what are the things that we do need to care about? First of all, RAG. Everybody's talking about this retrieval augmented generation, but nobody really has solved it. When I talk with people, they think that this is a solved problem. So this is easy. You can just take this LangChain or whatever and use that one, and just use it. So you don't need to worry about it. But still, RAG, it is one of the biggest problems we have been sort of solving, and we are close to solve it. I'm not going to tell it's fully ready yet, but there are ways on how to improve it a bit. So don't tell me that RAG is already solved. Then, of course, another thing or learning we had from the sort of early experience with fully automatic or automatic AI is basically the human connection. So yeah, we noticed that we still as a human want to discuss with other humans. We want to have a true connection, both with our clients and also the clients want to have a real connection with the companies or services they are using. So we cannot ditch the human. So it's not possible, even though the AI might handle most of the things better than any human can, but still the human connection must be there. So that's why, for example, our new version of LastBot, it's built ground up on human connections. So instead of kind of replacing human, we are augmenting, we are helping the client to get better service and get the best possible customer service that they can really solve their problem. Then sort of another thing, AI agents. Okay, I was talking about agents already then 2 years ago. We didn't talk about agents back then, but I was talking about this autonomous decision making by AI. So should I write code that's full of if-else's to really like do some simple thinking and so on, or should I give this to AI? I decided to give it to AI back then, so which is really new in a sense that I didn't want to go that way, that I have coded all the possible ways. I wanted to have the AI to make the real decisions or where we should be going next. And let's say that it's still one of the big beliefs that the agents will be the thing that is making a big difference, but still workflows, they are the reliable thing. Don't kind of underestimate them at all. We use workflows in some of the cases as well. And then this sort of course, we had to have our secret sauce, so not relying on everything else. So we have been building our own reinforcement learning model so that we are able to guide the conversation to a kind of a resulted way, and then sort of concentrating on, we call it condensed learning. We want to be putting lots of materials, but we want to really condense that into a information or knowledge that actually matters. So that's another thing that we have been studying quite a lot, and there will be sort of the results will be out really soon. Then let's go to how to sell these AI products. So that's another really thing, especially being here in Finland with the people who are, let's say, not that looking forward on trying out the latest things. And like Sami said, the fear of new technologies and what are the possible kind of security bugs in this. So it's so big. So how do we want to sell this? Okay. Education. That's why I'm really loud in LinkedIn. People who follow me and know that quite a lot. And I try to educate our people and our most of our clients or kind of our customers that we are having. We have a really long background with them. We have been discussing them with already a year or so, but it's a really long path. It takes time. And then proving value early. So, okay, everybody's expecting miracles from AI. They didn't happen a year ago. I'm not sure will they happen this year. But the really proving the value, it's really important because we know this from the first version that when people were actually using our product, we saw that we couldn't provide the value that they are waiting. So we hope to do that one with the new product. And then finding your champions. So especially important. So this market is driven by people who are really curious, people who are sort of really excited on the possibilities of AI. And if you don't have such person in the client or customer organization, you will be in really big problems. Because if somebody is not driving you forward, all of our big clients, they have this champion, and we love them for that one. So they help us sort of engage us. It's so easy to just back up and delay things and so on. So it's really annoying as a startup. And then, of course, the trust through transparency. It's being open about the limitations, being open about the way of working, what to expect, and so on. The truthfulness, it's really important, not only for the AI itself, but also for the company. So we cannot really sort of afford to have companies who are miscommunicating the AI. Because that's where there will be disappointments. Disappointments will kind of lead into a market stagnation or whatever. So we want to keep those people excited. Okay, really quickly, it is sort of the why I'm talking here. Why in overall I'm talking quite a lot in publicly and training people and so on is to network. So having these connections, hopefully we are all somehow connected. So having this good reputation, being involved, discussing with people, having this sort of meetups and such, it's really important. So I think the most of the good things we have seen have somehow born out of these networks and these meetups and the people who I meet either online or in these meetings. And then the partnerships and distribution, yeah, it's like you cannot do this as all alone. It's really difficult to differentiate if you don't have anything that's on your benefit. Selling AI chatbots, it's kind of a really difficult thing unless you have people, unless you have organization and partners who believe in you, are ready to talk sort of about this one. And then of course I promised to tell something about Telenor. So Telenor basically invested us on last year. So we have been sort of doing quite a lots of AI related things together with them. And we are building actually LastBot ONE will be brought in Finland together with DNA. So DNA will be selling our services and like I said, hopefully opening up the markets also to other Nordic countries and in overall 8 countries that the Telenor is actually present, and which is really huge. So it's not the investment that's really important. It's really important that they open up the sort of like their own connections and their own experiences, and so it has been a really good investor for us, and they are kind of we are really happy so far, and they are still letting us to do the actual work. Then I think this will be about the last thing. That's last half a year. If you have been listening to me, I have been talking about, of course, about AI, but I have been also talking about AI-assisted development or AI-powered development. And during that one, there are a few startups that we have actually built from the ground up with the help of AI. And this is why I'm really interested about this one. I want to tell to you that the making startups will change. We have been able to do startups in 1 week or 2 weeks of time. 2 weeks of development that usually took like 1 year to production. They are really running startups. They are not something imaginary. Don't tell me that it's not possible to do, because they are running, and they are running without any problems on production. So I'm telling you that the making of startups, it's not just the market and how AI is transforming things, but also the way on how fast you can really develop and how fast you can really try out things. So you don't have to spend that half a year in the cellar or whatever to build up your product and then think about the customers. Now you can go to customers, you can learn, we can easily tweak out the product in a matter of days. And the way of doing new AI native startups, this is one of the biggest things I have seen during the last half a year. And we are doing them, so we can help you if you want to build your startup. And then, okay, there's still the biggest learnings. So I will just kind of quickly go through this. Customer obsession, that's the thing. We need to concentrate on customers. So technology is just a tool. So we need to solve the real problems. Iterating things. So yeah, we must not be happy on things. So we need to renew ourselves every month. AI is evolving so fast. We need to utilize the best AI models we can. We cannot rely on things we invented a year ago. And that goes for other startups as well. So there are no such thing as like a single development projects anymore. Every project, every software, every SaaS startup company will be a kind of a ongoing project. And then of course having a good team with you, it's like another thing that I haven't seen such team that we have in LastBot ever in my 30 years of career. So I'm really happy we have been able to build this up together with them. Okay, I had still one slide. AI is really productive, I see. Yeah, tips for builders this year. Focus on distribution. Building is easy. Getting customers is hard. Embrace the AI first mindset. So you really must be AI native. You need to be AI first. You cannot live with just like kind of a AI wrapper, whatever you call it. And prepare for the long game. So yeah, I thought we would be quite much further in 2 years of time, but we are going that way. It takes patience, and especially this sort of big thing like AI transformation. We'd like to accelerate that one. We have people here who are doing the same, but yeah, let's try to do it, but let's prepare for a long game. Thank you.
Thank you, Pasi. Let's take some questions now. Raise your hand if you have a question you want to ask. I will bring you the microphone and Pasi will do his best to answer.
I have one question. So, any regrets if you think about going back 2 years, like anything that you really think that you should have done differently?
It's really hard to tell. I think that the regrets usually they relate on not giving up something that's not working early enough. So for us, it took half a year. It could have been kind of even faster. And so learning fast, failing fast, trying out new things. So we could have been faster, especially looking back right now. But otherwise, I cannot really tell that
Yeah, great talk. Thank you. I've actually 2 questions. You can make it quick if you want. One is you mentioned that RAG is not solved. That would be very interesting to hear what the problems are and how you solve them. And second, can you elaborate a little bit on your relationship with Softlandia and how you guys work together? Thank you.
Yeah, basically, I can answer first about Softlandia. So like I said, there are a few like this companies in Finland who are really into AI and who are kind of active in here. So we want to work with all of them. So definitely with Softlandia, I already saw that from the early days, there are people from Softlandia visible in the conversations. And when we are talking about AI and doing great things and demonstrating great things, and then kind of having another still small growing company together. So that's the really important thing. And then the reacting, it's the simple thing answer is basically that there is no amount of information in any organization that could answer to all of the questions the client have. And the context is really difficult, sort of understanding the context in a conversation, getting the real answers from RAG. And that it's really difficult. How we are solving, we are basically sort of, we are working on the learning and that phase. So we are generating the questions quite a lot, and then we are noticing that what is missing, what we need to generate further. So in that ways, we try to have this really kind of a condensed way so that we have, and then if we don't have an answer to some question, we can learn it. So it's really complex thing.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Pasi, for the kind words towards Softlandia.
Thanks for the presentation. you and a lot of other people are talking about agents.
Yeah.
And if I'm not totally mistaken, agents are like workflows created by generative AI. So the workflows are based on the responses of a language model.
Mhm.
And since language models are non-deterministic, so the workflow can go anywhere, basically.
Yeah.
Do you see that as a problem or just a challenge, a day in the office?
Let's say that for how we do AI agents and workflows, we actually make quite a strict boundaries on where it actually can go. So we have been sort of limiting out the possibilities. So yeah, it's definitely a problem, but solvable problem. So that's not the biggest thing to solve.
Yeah, so I know that you've been embracing this AI native approach to development as well, like to basically keep up with the pace of developing these products in 1 week or 2 weeks.
Yeah.
How do you see the team, like the founding team and the early team, construction going forward now that we have those AI native approaches available? So what is the place for humans in startup teams now, given the current situation?
Like I said, the importance of this human connections and customer connections and so on, it's not going anywhere. I think that the development is quite easy to automate, and so that's not the problem. But everything else that happens in a startup, it will require a lots of work, lots of connections. So I think that still that the sort of solving out the distribution is the biggest thing, and it's really difficult to solve with the AI. So we are not sending automated messages to everybody in Finland to sell our services. It's another kind of it's still a human work.
Hi, thanks. Karri Karsi from SoundCloud. It seems like, in a way, all the basics you told are pretty similar as a SaaS startup, in a sense. But the MVP is like a much quicker. You get the product to the markets and then have the customer feedback. Is that as you said, persistence is the key? That you get the minimum viable product, but then there will be like a year or two to actually get traction, and that's quite a question. Do you see it as like a basically same kind of model as in SaaS business anyways?
It takes time, but let's say that the customer feedback loop can be much faster, and that's the thing that has been changing quite a lot. So we still need to create the connections. We need to create the loops, the feedback loops there, but they can be much faster. We can learn much faster. We can iterate really quickly based on the sort of feedback that we give. So this sort of lean thinking that many startups have been doing for many years already, I think that it's just a kind of accelerated lean, so that we can iterate much faster than weeks or months. It can be even days if your connections just allow that one.
Related to the previous talk and what you said about the European market, do you see that really focusing on the European market, you would fall behind the American competitors?
A bit depends. I think in Europe there will be another kind of market, and so it's kind of a two-edged word. So in a sense, now that we are working with European companies and in a European regulation, that of course gives us an advantage here compared to the US competition, and it's basically up to us to then keep up this sort of technology and the progress and such as good as the American companies are doing. So I think that similar things will anyway happen, and we do think that we can help the European companies. They are slower, but they are not stupid. So in a sense that every business sort of executive is currently looking at AI, seeing the possibilities. If we can offer to that one, if we can offer them the trust, so it's slowing us maybe a bit, but I think that it's a huge opportunity still.
One last question, Pasi. We often hear the argument that AI is going to take away some jobs, or at least it will change many roles permanently. So what do you think are the most important skills that humans have in this age of building with AI?
I think it's still, even though we are solving the customer or the customer communication, still the customer communication and the working with clients and the this kind of a mindset of getting new ideas, validating them, and the being able to find the real problems or right problems to solve and solve them. So there's lots of brain work needed there where AI really can't help. So unfortunately.
All right, I'm on. Everyone's hearing me all right? All good? Is that better? Fantastic. Good to be here. I represent a company called Kallan Co. We are not a SaaS company, not an AI company as such, but a design company. And we work with designing corporate identities and interfaces. And I think it's somewhere in the crossover of these two kind of roles that I'm talking to you today. As a company, we're 12 years young, and we've had the luck of working with some really prominent SaaS companies around the world. All started out with a bit of luck, and then maybe skill at some point took over. So started with Cisco about 6-7 years ago, and then Five9 until they were sold to Zoom, Logic Monitor, a big observability player, Pure Storage, servers, CISO Data, Gyan, the layer on top of Salesforce that makes it fun, Big Panda, Big Data, Cockroach Labs, and lastly, Glean. And some of the later examples are very much deeply in the AI space, and those previous ones probably less so at the time, but obviously more so today there as well. And here's a chart that's quite prominently playing a role in our world, at least. You want 3, but you get to pick 2. And there's a dual meaning to this slide in this context, I think. With the inception of AI into design work, I think we are forced to and can achieve all 3. So we need to be faster, smarter, use skilled designers for only when we need them to be used, and use AI for everything else. So actually, I think this is quite true. And I also think those US companies saw us as doing all 3, because we're probably quite a bit less expensive than a quality US-based design agency as well. So for us, what this means at the moment is that we have our kind of toolbox that allows us to do the work we do manually, but then kind of a dual package of AI tools that allows us to achieve speed, allows us to achieve more versioning, allows us to achieve a lot of different things, and as a result of that, we can be faster at getting to good enough results, so that we then can craft those results into something that really looks and feels nice. So kind of a partial revolution going on in our world as well, although a lot of the kind of basic principles still are there. And some reflections on working with those US-based companies that I just flicked through quickly earlier. I think there's one thing that holds true, and when building a product, you get from something that don't work into something that does work. So that's kind of step one, and then everyone's happy, or not. So I think especially sometimes here in Finland, we see works being enough, and then going to the delight space is where you really have to convince people to it being worthwhile going there. And in these US client relationships, we also saw that maybe we both ends have the desire to go towards, delightful experiences. But if you can't, as an organization, get two of the main pieces of a product company to work together properly, meaning the product itself and the brand or marketing or comms that should then promote that product, you probably are sitting in a situation where you have a versus situation than a situation where you actually work together. And we see that where it really does work is when product and everything else really works together smoothly and in a, I would say, seamless manner. So that kind of a non-related kind of non-AI related truth that I think is still very much true and will be so for years to come. And here, just an example, Happy Signals is a Finnish SaaS scale-up that we've been working with for some time already. I think almost day one since they started. And here we've been able to work on both sides of the formula, working with marketing and working really deeply with the product as well. And it's so much easier to if you say the product is the brand, then the product needs to be the brand, and the product needs to breathe out into the universe in a way that actually makes the most out of it. So happy about that. When it comes to AI and design, one of the things that we keep seeing when applying tools, when seeing what's out there, is that, well, it is quite average, and the quality isn't quite what it could be and should be, because it is basically just sourcing what's already out there and reusing that, reapplying that. So in order to get to that magic, you still need to have a human brain with some magic in it to bring that to life. So that's something that to our relief, at least still gives us a reason to believe in the fact that we, as designers, yes, applying smart tools when we produce our work, there still is a place for us in this world, and probably for some time to come. Yeah, I think if average is what we're seeing through the eyes of AI in terms of design and written copy output as well, then the audience hasn't changed, not at all. Probably quite the opposite, actually, when you get bombarded with things that you see are AI created, you start appreciating things where the real attention to detail has been applied again. So, and here just an example of boring taxes, AI-assisted application, and then being able to add a little bit of magic on top of that in terms of using illustration and human elements, one could say. And here just a list of executions where the final output has been created by the human hand, but the inspiration and the early prototypes have all been created using AI. So something that we, I think, have implemented quite successfully already, and are continuously honing our skills on to basically break our business to build it up again in terms of how we do things without changing the outcome very much, at least not yet. And then kind of more at the heart of AI question, what does good UX look like when users don't just click but collaborate with the system? What type of new question marks does this put around user interface design and UX in general? And for example, car manufacturers is one vertical where we've been present and thinking about the smart vehicle with the smart driver. How much should the vehicle just do stuff? How much should it inform you that it just did? And how much of it should it actually ask for your opinion on what it should be doing? So I think those are really interesting questions from an overall experience point of view, not just what happens on screen, but especially what doesn't happen on screen. I think is quite interesting in terms of questions to ask oneself as a designer and tackle as a result. And yeah, then one of our clients, Glean, is just the interface of their assistant, which I think quite geniusly opens when you open up a new browser tab. It's instantly there. So how do you access this new tool that you bought for your company? Maybe it's just in the next browser window that you open up. So thinking about when you go away from being forced to having a standalone app into something that just lives and breathes and needs a very thin interface into the user, then I think creativity can be applied quite nicely there as well. And then obviously behind this input bar, how do you guide and help the user understanding what this bar does for you and what it doesn't do for you, the limitations that it has, and what kind of training do I as a service have to provide to the user in order for him or her to truly understand my power and limitations, and the best, easiest, least time-consuming ways to use this, seemingly endless white space of possibilities and problems that may occur. So I think those are in our minds the big question marks in terms of UX for AI. It's not so much about where do I put the menu items and how do I order them. It's more like, is there a menu at all, or is it a flexible menu that changes based on what I've been doing before, or my previous actions, or who I am, the information that it has about me, and things like that. So a lot of fluidity and a lot more questions than answers for now, I would say. And obviously every service is specific to itself and needs specific solutions as well. So fascinating space and really interesting and exciting to be playing a little part in that right now. And then the Kallan killer, what if there's no need for a visual interface at all? Well, I think there'll probably be some level of response screen at least that we can play around with, even if it's voice or thoughts that are guiding the interaction between the human and the machine. And I guess what we're asking ourselves and our clients and the people around us is not just what can you do, but what can you make people feel while they're doing it. And I think that's where we are focusing a lot of our effort at the moment, making the machine a friend in just the right kind of ways. That was all. Thank you.
Thank you, André. We are ready to take questions again because those are fun. Who wants to go first? Petri.
So if you want to have a look at what is really leading edge and you feel like is really inspiring, do you have some suggestions on services or sites where you've been really blown away? Like this is something that's happened with AI and is superior to what you've seen before, the AI solutions.
In terms of what I can get access, I think there's a lot of that out there. But if I think about from a design point of view, I don't know. I think the really good executions are still either evading me or waiting to be defined and designed. So I couldn't point you anything that would be, light years ahead of, I don't know, ChatGPT.
Question from me. If you think about the US companies, for example, I know Glean, it was one of the first ones to try to adopt GenAI to corporate search and stuff like that. So comparing like what they do there, like what is missing from Europe, if you are okay to comment. And then a question relates to Pasi's presentation. How do you build the trust part in, or how can you utilize design to the trust what Pasi was mentioning, which is very important, I think.
Yeah. So 2 questions. Why is Glean what it is? So they are valued at 7 billion at the moment and started by some Google engineers. And I think what ties them together with a lot of the other examples that I had there, I use sometimes a slide that Gap has no place in China, which is Gap, the brand, which is by middle-class people, for middle-class people, and the fact that that doesn't fly in China because Chinese are flying up and not flying to the middle class to stay there. And I think Silicon Valley has a lot in common with that. You go and you go hard, and you have access to capital if you have a suitable story, and you have access to some of the best brains as well, and the domestic market already being huge. So to me, I don't think they're better. That's probably not the answer there. I think it's kind of aggregated personality that's just a lot more confident than the European equivalent, and then access to everything you need to boost that confidence. And the other one was, yes, trust. Yes, I think that's the big one. And we know that anytime anyone identifies something is AI generated, trust levels go down. So you need to work extra hard in order to first regain the kind of baseline and then start working your way from there. And I think a lot of the same design principles apply to that as to any situation. It's not about, a big bang and suddenly we have trust. It is about being there all the time. When I need something, help, I don't understand, I'm stuck, I can't figure this out. Like being there, I think is the big part of it. And then the interface and the way of interacting with it will then quite significantly dictate how we actually go about that, which are our opportunities, how often do we get to, and how much space can we use to do that. But yeah, I think that's almost a design discipline on its own, and especially important in this context.
Yeah, I was wondering if you or are any of the designers on your team, if you're finding that people are prototyping more, less, and Figma are these design tools and more just speaking first with the chat bot and then getting something thrown in your face quickly to kind of start molding?
I think Figma is still the heart of it, but how do things end up in Figma? I think there's quite a revolution there. And Figma itself is also introducing new features that allow us to do a lot of the things that we would go fishing somewhere else before and only then bring into Figma. But yeah. Yeah, so Figma's still the key destination, but yeah, I think it's a richer space of going out, finding inspiration, and yeah.
Cool, thank you.
Hi, thanks for the presentation. So I have a question regarding the voice interfaces. So this GenAI topic has been able to give as you said, no menus, just like something to write. And a lot of these kind of voice interfaces has emerged in the VPBX world, where you can call the contact center and there's a GenAI bot. But do you think these will come also to the web pages? So are people ready to talk to the web pages and not type? And if yes, I'm really sorry for the Scottish people.
I don't know. That's the short answer, but I can maybe reflect on it a little bit. Would I want to talk to a news site? Probably. Give me the latest on the topic that I'm interested in. So then probably the clicks would go away altogether, and I would just be talking to it, and it would shuffle articles and content in a way that is in line with what I just said. I think in selection items, yeah, it might be slower, and I think people are also, at least at the moment, so used to kind of the eye-hand coordination and the brain there in between. So you really have to be, it would have to be quite a bit more efficient, enjoyable, or something positive to a fairly significantly higher degree than the alternative that we have today, which in many instances work really well. So it then does have to be brilliant for it to take over. And I'm sure people would be willing to try things and experience things, but is it something that then reaches the big masses as a product that the previous one was before and this is now? Quite hard to say.
On the same topic, you mentioned self-driving cars as an example. There are also a bunch of smart devices. There's augmented reality and everything. Do you think AI is enabling or requiring something new there? And how much of the design work in the future do you think is about the computer screens, and how much is it about everything else out there?
Yeah. In many appliances, or where AI gets applied, I'm pretty sure that the screen will not be critical. Say a self-driving car, yeah, I guess it's good that it can show you something, but I'm sure there's plenty of scenarios where you interact voice to and voice from, and that's all you need. And then I guess, yeah, the visual UX will disappear, at least in some use cases. But I think when I think about those questions, I can think of one or two where it's easily removable, but then a lot of things where still a visual, at least a response generator that shows me stuff. I think that's still needed. Do I need to interact, and does it need to be touch or this and that? Probably not in too many places. But yeah, I think there's still a space for screens.
All right. Thank you for this insight. You'll also be able to stay around for the pizza networking bit. Yes. Excellent. Thank you, André.
Thank you.
Now is a good moment to grab a drink. If you're thirsty, we'll have one more session. Jaakko is going to touch on the vibes from Austin and US AI scene. He'll be setting up very soon.
All right, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Jaakko Timonen, and as Mikko said, I lead our US go-to-market efforts, and I prepared 100 slides for you, so I'm gonna go fast. Maybe 90 max, okay. But yeah, so since Sami asked that, do we need SaaS anymore? Is it just AI? I'm gonna ask, do we need even VCs anymore? So that's the first of the practical and tactical observations I'm gonna share from SaaStock in Austin. So I've noticed already a few months ago that on LinkedIn, quite a few people started saying that you don't necessarily need VCs anymore because these days building is cheap and you can do so many things fast. And there are many groups who are organizing events together and sharing tips on how you can actually build without VC funding. Craig Head was one of the speakers at SaaStock. But another observation is that even some companies that have raised VC funding and that typically would continue on the VC path raising Series A, B, and C are actually boasting that they are cutting costs and becoming more efficient with AI agents, and they plan not to raise funding anymore. So I guess the implication here is that VCs in the earlier stages have more competition coming on their way because the later stage funding might be narrowing down. But yeah, one of the examples was Chili Piper. Their head of marketing replaced marketing department of 20 people with AI agents, so much so that they only have 2 people left. But then again, small teams are achieving big things, and typically even small teams need VC funding. So honestly, the fastest moving companies that are going to get super big typically these days still raise a lot of funding. So I don't think VC funding is actually not going anywhere. Then if we talk about go-to-market, next topic. I see a bunch of people raving about outbound systems. Here's one guy, but basically multiple stands at SaaStock were like how to build AI agents for this and that in terms of building outbound. And yeah, it definitely works for some people. And one of the companies that people seem to be a big fan of is Clay. But I call these companies spam engines because basically what they do, they give you data and enrich it, and then they do outbound. And so much so that, well, actually 3 years ago, I put on my LinkedIn that I'm definitely not looking for any outsourcing services. I'm so fed up with all cold outreach that I get. And by the way, I get a lot of positive feedback on this. But this is kind of a image that you see all the time in the US. This is like a system for go-to-market with a bunch of tools and AI agents and whatnot. So people are building really complex systems where they have automated everything. And I guess this is actually a good thing if you have if you actually have a product that's very appealing to your audience. But at least for us at Softlandia, when we discuss with people and if we try to do any cold outreach, people are so fed up with cold outreach, especially in terms of AI, that it doesn't work. But it does work for some people, and this is insanely popular. For me, I'm more of an inbound guy. I like to build content that attracts people, and SEO is typically the name of the game there. But these days, the question is that is SEO dead because the amount of Google searches is going down. People are using LLMs. Some people use the word or term GEO, like Generative Engine Optimization, or AIO. And that's one of the things, one of the practical things I would suggest for any SaaS company is to use these generative AI tools, search tools, and test how you appear on these LLMs when people search. Here's why. Tally, one of the bootstrapping companies that has been growing really fast, they managed to get 1,000 registrations in January just from LLMs. So if you are building inbound deal flow and you're not focusing on how to appear on LLM search results, now's the time to start. Next topic, pricing. Again, this is a very difficult topic in the sense that in the world of SaaS, we have gotten so used to having seat-based pricing, like $39 per month. But with AI, that's not necessarily name of the game, because if you're building SaaS, you get charged for the amount of usage, no matter how you price it. And some companies have been able to build this usage-based pricing, but it's still very, very early days. And me personally, I think it's easier to buy if you know how much to budget. But then again, you buy AWS and other these cloud services where you know that you get infinite scale if you just need it. But there's no comprehensive answer that what's the winning scenario here. But the advice that people give is that just build things and move fast. Don't aim for perfection, aim for speed. And then pick a trusted group of users or customers and test with them. And we as a company have also observed that when we discuss with SaaS businesses that their customers are asking for AI and AI roadmaps. But when SaaS companies ask from their end customers that, hey, what would you like to do with AI? The end customers say, we don't know. And then when we discuss with our customers, these SaaS companies, and we ask, what are your thoughts on building the business model? They say, we don't know. We just need to build AI. So I think the maturity is not there yet. You just need to build with AI, discuss with your customers, figure out where the value is, and take it from there. One practical advice that I keep giving all the time is this article from First Round Capital. It's called review.firstround.com, Speed as a Habit. If your startup is moving too slow, I highly recommend reading this article. Then one of the hot topics is evals. So Pasi was talking about moats. So if you follow Startup World, you know Y Combinator, their CEO said that evals are emerging as the real moat for AI startups. And some of these other quotes are from pretty significant people in the world of AI. So what are evals? It's basically how you measure the quality of your AI and LLMs and the reliability. This was also mentioned quite a few times. So we know that LLMs hallucinate, but they are also insanely efficient. But if you want to build AI in the production, how do you judge if the AI is trustworthy enough? And this is the topic that gets discussed quite a bit. And when we hosted our own event for CPOs, this was the trendiest topic. And this is one of the things I recommend any people building with AI to ask our tech guys, not me. Because the end customer is definitely asking you, is this going to be reliable when you display your AI products for them? How about AI beyond chat? So what we do know is that we all have access to AI through ChatGPT and all the others. And that's basically how everybody starts to interact with chat. And there was quite a bit of discussion, like bunch of keynotes, how old static dashboards are gone, and you're gonna need these dynamic dashboards where you can chat and then you have real-time visualizations there. However, again, one of the issues here is that since the nature of LLMs is that they are fast, but they are not necessarily reliable if you are handling large data masses. So luckily for us, we were able to demonstrate what we have built with Happy Signals. So we call this like interactive executive summary. So you get an overview on what's happening, what have been making people unhappy, and then some data-driven insights. And then you can drill down on these topics by clicking these links, and then you get interactive dashboards. And when you hard code these features, they are more reliable because you have predefined set of things that are happening in the background instead of chat. So if anybody is thinking what's there beyond chat, then we are happy to do demos about this topic. Okay, let's go back to VCs. We organized the event for CPOs, Chief Product Officers, basically about the same topic, AI for SaaS. And we had the pleasure of having S3 Ventures explaining their findings, like lessons learned from evaluating AI first versus AI enhanced SaaS companies. So what fails? If you're just trying to basically AI wash your audience, it's definitely not going to fly. You are not going to be able to win if you build black boxes. You need to be transparent. As was already mentioned before, building trust is insanely important with AI. So what wins is demonstrating clear return on investment, and of course data advantages and feedback loops. That was also mentioned by Luke O'Malley. So when you start to build with AI, pick your select group of customers and make sure you have tight feedback loops. Then think about the pricing model and make sure you have deep domain expertise. So one of the findings I also made, or observations that I discovered, was that vertical SaaS is not being perceived as well as it was before. These days, it's all about vertical SaaS, because it's very, very cheap to build with AI. So you need to have like deep expertise on a topic to build a product that actually impresses people. And then, of course, if you have a product that improves with usage, that's a recipe for success. But yeah, revisiting go-to-market, I would say go to the US, as Sami said earlier. We had so much fun at SaaStock. Our booth cost like $2,000, not much. We said that we had the tastiest booth because we were offering Finnish gin, whiskey, chocolate, and case studies, of course. And then we also hosted a couple of these happy hour events, like basically created a side event of our own, invited founders. The first one cost $500. The second cost $750, so not much. And we have been actually able to get customers through these events. So that's my practical advice. But yeah, that's it. I typically try to go fast and reserve more time for questions. So thank you.
Thank you, Jaakko. I will bring the microphone when you raise your hand.
Yeah, thanks. Very impressive work on the US customer acquisition. Many Finns fail on that, and you've done a great job with it. So what are your key learnings from building everything from scratch in the United States?
Oh, yeah, okay. So the first thing that comes to mind is that a little bit of backstory. I had a startup of my own, and I was member of Capital Factory in Austin, which is the largest accelerator and co-working space there. And what's great about them is that they have 250 mentors who are hosting office hours every day at the premises. And founders or any basically members can go and discuss with these mentors and ask for advice and then warm introductions. So I discussed with this VC, and he said that he has invested in 12 companies, and he figured out that we could be able to help 7 out of those 12. So he gave me the names of those companies and the LinkedIn profiles of their CEOs and asked me to craft like a customized elevator pitch for all of these. So I did that. It took me basically a day, 1 hour each. And this guy asked for open introductions, and guess how many meetings I got out of those 7 introductions? 7. Any other guesses? 0. That's correct. So why did that happen? I mean, when I was a founder, if one of my investors said that, hey, Jaakko, I would like to introduce you to somebody, I would take the call or the meeting. But again, what's happening? If nobody has never heard about me or Softlandia and it's about AI, it's like, okay, yet another AI pitch. It's not gonna fly. But then when I started meeting people like multiple times, and the way I do it is that I always ask first that how can I help you? And I'm not going to ask anything back. I just help them. And then at some point, I'm going to meet them the second time, discuss. So maybe the second or third time that I discuss with these people, then they ask me, that, hey, what do you do? Who can I introduce you to? So that has been working really well. So it needs patience. It needs patience to get the customers. A bit long-winded answer. Sorry about that.
You mentioned deep vertical SaaS companies in AI. Do you have any examples of those?
Well, the first thing that comes to mind is Superhuman. It's basically an email app on top of Gmail. But what would be even better, like super niche? What are some of the tools that I'm using? Difficult one. Well, We can discuss about our customers. So for example, Zoind that we help, they build dashboards for restaurants and retail. So they have two verticals. Happy Signals, they are measuring employee happiness on corporate IT. So very, very niche. Like some people might think that is that even a vertical that is big enough, but turns out it is. So I would use those two as examples. Then our latest customer in the US, Amplify Now, they are basically a tool that helps you track and manage strategic initiatives. So whenever you are, running those initiatives, you have a bunch of data that you need to analyze and a bunch of comments. So it's only for that one purpose. It's not even for designing your corporate strategy. It's all about more or smaller initiatives. So those are the first examples that come to mind.
Yeah, you said sometimes that cold emails seem to work and sometimes they don't. Is there any characteristics for companies or people when it works and others that it does not?
I don't know. I mean, I guess it's all about timing. So one advice that I got as a founder is that if you're trying to resolve an issue for your customer that's not a top 3 issue they have self-identified, you're not going to be able to sell. So if you somehow get lucky, or if you're able to detect signals somehow that that this is a problem that the customer has identified as a burning issue, and then you email right at the right time, it may happen. But on a more broader context, I would say that in Finland, it still works maybe because it's just easier and there's less spam here. In the US, I wouldn't try. I mean, we did try, but 2,000 emails, one lousy meeting, no thank you. And we spent quite a bit of time building those sequences.
But if you do want to do outbound, do you need a massive AI agent army working for you? Is it otherwise even worth trying?
Yeah, I mean, I would say that, of course, any company can if you build on inbound, you are going to reach a stage where you're not going to be able to grow as fast, and then you probably have brand recognition and so on, and you are probably going to touch wider audience in your target network. Then it makes sense to build outbound. But in the early stages, I would focus on inbound and building in public, engaging on LinkedIn, as Pasi said. I just read about a survey that 68% of B2B buying decisions start by somebody asking from their peers. So if your reputation is not great, if your customer service is not great, you're not going to get referred. So focusing on building excellent product, excellent customer support, that's where I would start. So for example, for Softlandia, since not that many people know about us in Austin, would I want them to recognize that those are the guys who spammed me? Like, no, not necessarily the best first impression.
Fair point.
What's your gut feeling? Do you think you're going to, on the long run, to be a consulting company with mostly Finnish people targeting US, or will this wind up being that you just, become an AI tools company or an AI product company rather than building these for others?
So actually, as it happens, not only are we a software consulting and engineering company that focuses on AI, we're also a venture studio. And we have so far spun out 2 companies from our venture studio, and we're actually building plans on how to ramp up that. So basically how to develop not products, but product companies out of these product ideas that we get internally when we discuss with our customers, but also when external people come to us and say that, hey, I have this product idea, how can I take this forward? Then we can help with that. So in the future, maybe, we've been discussing that, do we aim for 50 or 100 top class AI consultants that have a path to move to product companies from our company? That's one thing. But for me personally, and for us as a company, it seems that there's a lot of interest building these AI startups because many consultants and engineers are interested in becoming an entrepreneur. But maybe it's asking too much to take the leap from a consultant in a big corporation to become a co-founder. But if you join a company like us, you get to observe the deal flow and what are the product ideas that get incubated into companies, then it's a smoother path. So at the moment, we're hoping that the venture studio side is eventually going to take over, but when's that going to be, we don't know yet.
Yeah, one of the original name ideas was something along the lines of intergalactic mega corporation. So take that for what you will. All right, don't shoot the messenger, but the pizza is a bit late, should be here any minute now. Ilmo says 1 minute, so all right, it's 1 minute, let's say that. Thanks everyone, thanks Jaakko.
Jaakko, if you would now make a new startup company, what would you not do? Like what was the most competitive area, what you've seen in US? Like a domain or product area or whatever?
These AI spam engines, I wouldn't build an outbound marketing tool. Like there's
outbound marketing, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, so hey, thank you all. So like I said, I can smell the pizza. They called me that they are inside the yard already, so pizza is here. So thank you for the very lively discussion. But the purpose is that please stay, ask more from the speakers or discuss with each other. The pizzas are sliced. They will be on the table there. There will be some like vegan. I think there's vegetarian as well, and then something else. So they should have written on top of the box that what is in which. Try to survive, and if there's something like not clear, our people will try to help you. And if you have any questions or ideas for the next event, would be very interesting. If you have a company, you want to present a product idea, whatever, would be very interesting. We are organizing the next event in October, so not in September. September is going to be as busy as 4th of June. So we try to have the event after the September rush hour. But please think about even like previous events 2 years ago, we had US speakers as well. So if you think that there's an interesting person somewhere outside of Finland, we can try to bring them as well to speak. I think we didn't have Llama Index yet speaking in our event, but we could try. Like this kind of West Coast Silicon Valley tech guys. We don't know anybody from OpenAI, but we know a guy who knows very well those. So think about what could be interesting. And thanks for Pasi, thanks for André, thanks for Jaakko. And yeah, pizzas are in the house.